You know, for as long as we've had stuff, we've wanted to protect it. But the history of forts? Oh, it's so much more than just building big walls. It's this incredible, never-ending arms race, this constant battle between attackers and defenders that literally changed the world. And it all boils down to one simple but really tough question.
How do you build something that can't be broken? I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? For thousands of years, this has been the ultimate challenge for engineers. How do you design something so tough, so perfect, that it can stand up to anything thrown at it? This one question, it's the reason we have some of the most amazing structures in history.
So we're getting into the problem of defense. And really, it all comes down to a basic human need: security. It's this deep primal instinct we have to protect our people, our stuff, our whole way of life. And for pretty much all of history, the first answer that came to mind was, well, build a wall. You know, just draw a big physical line in the sand. This side is us, and it's safe. That side is them, and it's not.
Okay, so let's define what we're actually talking about here. What is a fortification? Well, it's way more than just a wall to hide behind. Sure, its job is defense, but it's also about projecting power. It's a tool, a way to control territory, and it's a massive symbol to everyone around that says, we're in charge. So it's not just a shield, it's a statement. And that's exactly why these fortresses were so important. They weren't just sitting there passively. No way. A fortress was the active, beating heart of an entire region. Think about it. From inside those walls, you controlled everything: trade routes, armies, food supplies. It was the physical symbol of your power. If you lost your fortress, you didn't just lose a fight, you lost everything.
Which brings us to the art of the siege. Because of course, the second someone builds a supposedly unbreakable wall, you just know someone else is already working on a way to smash it to pieces. And that's exactly what happened. This whole dynamic gave birth to the brutal, complex art of siege warfare. It was the perfect and deadly countermove to the fortress.
What he ended up with was this incredible tactical game of cat and mouse. It was a constant back and forth. Attackers show up with battering rams. Okay, we'll reinforce the gates. They build giant siege towers to get over the walls. Fine, we'll dig a moat and put murder holes in the ceiling to drop nasty stuff on them. Every single move had a countermove. It was this grim, calculated chess match. But you know, a lot of the time, the deadliest weapon wasn't a catapulter or a ram. It was just time. Starving the people inside was often the most effective strategy of all.
And sieges almost always follow the same brutal but very logical playbook. First up, encirclement. You surround the place completely, cut off all their supplies. Then comes attrition. You just wear them down, mentally and physically, with constant bombardment and, of course, hunger. And only then, when they're at their absolute weakest, do you even think about launching the final assault. Because really, the goal wasn't always a massive, bloody fight. A lot of the time, it was just to make them give up, to force a surrender, so you could take the fortress without losing half your army in the process.
So, was this just an unwinnable arms race? Well, maybe. But this constant push and pull between the siege and the fortress, it became this incredible engine for innovation. For hundreds of years, you had the best minds in engineering and architecture totally obsessed with this one problem. Every time a new weapon came along, it forced everyone on the defensive side to go straight back to the drawing board.
And you can see this whole arms race play out so clearly across history. I mean, look at the timeline. Back in the ancient era, you've got battering rams and catapults. The solution? Build your walls really high and really thick. Simple. But then gunpowder changes the entire game. Suddenly, a cannonball can just punch right through those high walls. So what do? You invent something completely new, the star fort. Instead of high walls, you build low, thick, sloped walls that can actually deflect cannonballs. Genius. And then you jump to the modern era. Now the threat is coming from the sky. Aerial bombs. The only answer is to go down, deep underground, into hardened bunkers. The story is always the same. As the attack changes, the defense has to change with it.
And this quote just sums it up perfectly. The entire history of military engineering is a duel between the fortress and the cannon. It's so true. For something like 500 years, that one relationship, that constant fight, was the driving force behind almost every single innovation in how wars were fought.
So, why do these old forts still matter? It's easy to look at this and think, okay, that's ancient history. But here's the thing. The basic ideas, the core principles that were worked out with stone and dirt all those centuries ago, they are more relevant today than you can even imagine. The echo of those ancient walls, it's literally all around us.
No, seriously, think about it. We still use the term hardening a target, right? It doesn't matter if it's a castle gate or a modern server room. Or what about layered security? A medieval castle had a moat, then an outer wall, then an inner wall, then the keep. What does your phone have? A firewall, a password, maybe two-factor authentication? It's the exact same idea, just different materials. And controlling strategic choke points? That's just as important for a global shipping lane today as it was for a mountain pass back then. These principles, they don't go away.
When you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. The principles haven't changed at all. Only the materials have. We've just swapped out stone for concrete and steel and silicon. But that underlying logic, that core strategy of defense, it's exactly the same. We are still trying to figure out the answer to that same ancient problem.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. In our world today, an age of cyber warfare and digital threats, what is the modern fortress? I mean, when the biggest dangers aren't invading armies, but computer viruses and online disinformation, where are our walls? And what new kind of cannon is out there, right now, trying to blast its way through?